You're listening to THF Radio.
You're listening to THF Radio.
THF Radio. THF Radio.
Up.
Hi and welcome everyone to the THF Sunday evening with the Needle Drop crew here at our little container on the airport.
Bonsoir. Very nice to see you.
Thanks for the invitation already.
Hello.
Hi. I'm here with Leon, Anna and Jonathan from the Needle Drop Collective, which is active since a little while in Berlin, and we're here to find out more what Needle Drop is all about and what's going on behind the scenes.
Where do we start? Anna, please tell us. Help me.
How are you doing? How was your weekend? Right, that's what you always do on your podcast. I saw that. You start off with a very chill question to keep the people on your track, right? So let's just do the same. How are you doing?
Let's have a basic conversation first, too. I'm doing well, thank you very much. It's raining, unfortunately, but it's very cozy in this little container here. My weekend was quite chilled so far, I have to say. I've been to one DJ set from a friend of mine whose name is Rill. Which was very nice, I have to say. Yeah, but other than that, I was preparing for this day today. What about you, Leon?
So my weekend was a bit not too chill, but also not too wild. Yesterday I played a gig at Suicide Circus. So actually today morning from 5 to 8. And So I was in the club also for playing and also for supporting friends who were also playing on this party. And yeah, except for this, some friends came to Berlin to visit us, and yeah, we had a lovely time together. And yeah, what about you, Jonathan?
Just a mess as always. Yeah, yeah, yesterday it's mostly work, but yeah, it's always the same. Like, you tell yourself, it's a weekend, I'm not gonna do anything, and at the end you just do things that you should do under the week, and you take a little bit of time to do it, and I really enjoyed it. In the afternoon I had a coffee with a friend, and in the evening I had a small dinner with a good friend of us from Leipzig. He has the collective Nachtschicht. We organized a flash day with them a few months ago, and yeah, we're gonna come back a little later on that. And this morning I had an overpriced brunch, as it is in Prenzlauer Berg. but it's not.
Gotta do the overpriced brunch.
Yeah, then a little birthday, and here we are.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here. We are settling in, we're getting comfortable, and we are trying to entertain you for the next 2 hours. There was a DJ set planned by Leon. Unfortunately, the left turntable has some issues, so we need to cancel that and might need to figure out a solution for that. However, let's talk about Needle Drop. The name itself is already quite impressive, I have to say, since turntables have needles and tattoo machines have needles. I see the parallels there. And the drop, of course, is also the drop of ink and the drop of the bass, right? Am I guessing correctly here?
You are. So it's very yeah, it's running on every layer, I would say. Music, tattooing, and one I'm not gonna mention him, like his name, but I even go like, yeah, it's also about the drugs, and I was like, no, it's not about the drugs.
Beep, beep, where's the button? Where's the button? THF, we need a button.
And I was like, no, we don't do this, not
Right.
you.
But you could say Needle Drop is a multidisciplinary collective group of people who have the same mindsets and share the same passions and ideas.
So that's what it's about, because Needle Drop at the very beginning was like the idea come from our friend Nia Thule, which I have to still thank for the amazing idea.
Shout out.
We had a coffee and I was like, hey, I need a name for this new project. And she was like, yeah, we just like brainstormed for like an hour, and at the end he was like, yeah, tattooing meets club culture is cool, but there is something that's missing, needs to connect both worlds, tattooing and the music, and he came up with Needle Drop.
All right.
Nowadays we're facing, I wouldn't say a problem because it's not, but a kind of rebranding. The Needle Drop is going to be called the ND project and to be registered as a business. Okay. And since we're expanding, so we're going to have the Needle Drop Studios. We're going to be a creative agency because that's also a thing we're going to develop later. We're getting bigger and bigger, and the team is also getting bigger, and like the community is growing as well, which is kind of overwhelming about like the time, like the small amount of time it took to get us there. And Needle Drop is gonna stay the logo, but like the business is going to be the ND project.
And just before we dive into the history of Needle Drop, is there a special reason why Needle Drop changed into ND?
Yes, unfortunately.
Yeah, is it like a business related? Or?
Yeah, no, not really. When you want to, yes, when you want to protect your IDs in your business, you need to go in Germany to the DPMA, Deutsches Patentenmark.
Right.
We did our research, and Beatport already protected the name.
Oh, come on. Really?
They did it with American lawyers 6 years ago, and they're not using it. So far we know, they just protected it, and exactly in the kind of field that we're active.
Wow.
So not to be to get into any troubles with the Americans, we're just not gonna do this, and like we play safe, and we're protecting right now the name and the logo as it is right now. Okay. So we kind of made the very best out of it. And we keep the logo, we still call it it's ND, like Needle Drop, but the project, the part of it, of the podcast, yeah, that's something like this. Do you want to add something on that?
No, thank you.
Thanks.
So let's start from the very beginning. Where are we? Which year is it? And what are you doing when the idea pops up? Is it correct to say that you're kind of the grandfather of this child?
Grandfather. Who's the son?
Father. I don't know. The father.
Yes,
The mother.
yes, I would say. But Needle Drop is a team. This is something that's really important to me because, my team is doing an amazing job, and the project wouldn't be as big as it is without them.
Okay.
So, and also a big thank you to Felix, who couldn't make it today
Shout
for
out.
personal reasons. But yeah, so the idea started, the concrete idea of the project started last summer. I changed the 2 studios. I had an amazing and very wild summer, and I was like, okay, I cannot really continue like this. What do I want to do now?
Okay.
Where am I in my life, and what can I do to make one thing where I know that it's gonna be mine and that do not have to be dependent on other people. And I asked many different people there, they're just questions from where they are, how they did to become the independent person and artists they were, in different fields, just as tattoo artists or DJs or producers.
So the podcast, so for you guys, there's a podcast series out there on YouTube and YouTube Shorts. And my question to you is now, it's not only DJs being interviewed.
No.
Okay.
And that's the cool thing is my tattoo client, the clients I do tattoo are from the club scene, and it's totally different people, from the door to the bar people, to the DJs, management, or just ravers. And I found super interesting to listen to the great stories that they were telling me when they got tattooed. And I was like, hey, this is so sad that no one's can listen to this, and let's do something bigger about it.
Okay.
That was the main idea, and no one did that. Plus, I listen myself to a lot of podcasts, which inspired me a lot. And then I contacted literally every person I knew in the scene, I know in the scene, to talk about the idea. This was between September last year and December, and over the months, the whole concept grew, and I put it together, and people just were immediately interested. I don't know why, but then I had the feeling okay, this is gonna be big somehow. And it was very interesting to see the people who were really into it and supporting since day one, and the other were just a little curious, or then a little bit suspicious about it. And yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I really feel without your network, which already existed, it would have been much harder to get these interesting guests and to get your team together. And I feel that also really helped you to start strong with a strong first podcast, for example. And I guess the network was very necessarily and a big part of it, right? It would have been much more difficult if you would have moved new to Berlin and be yo, I'm gonna start this club culture podcast. I guess
absolutely
that's correct. Yeah?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
so
I was the names on there are quite big, and I was wow, damn, what's happening here?
Yeah, so to rebound on what I said before in your question is the project and the network and all that started 8 years ago.
Right.
Needle Drop, the basic idea was to, it's different medium as you perfectly described it before. I wanted to make a portfolio or a book about all the work that has been done over the last years, but to share it with my friends and to make it something bigger, because there's so many cool artists in different mediums and different fields all around the city. And of course, when you party for 8 years in a town like Berlin, you just get to know a lot of people, and
You do.
they have so many cool stories to tell. And I think that was a kind of what I think is a normal or cool idea, and just took off.
And grew also organically in a way.
Yes.
I wanted to ask, are there any podcasts you can recommend to our listeners? Is there anything you inspired you to do that? Is there already something similar? You said no, but I cannot imagine that there's no podcast about electronic music, right?
So to be honest, I never made a really proper research because I was just too focused on the project, and I didn't want it to get any inspiration or to get too much input from other people, which is very funny because a few months ago someone from Resident Advisor even came to us to ask us for some tips which was like, wait, hold on, like, we were the total amateurs, and like resident advisors coming to us to ask us like, hey, how do you do this? And just like, yeah, we just do it. And I had the chance like to have Sami. Sami is the guy who's doing the football podcast, the Football Bromance. It's the biggest channel around about football, American football in Germany. Like,
And
it's
they're
huge
Berlin-based
thing.
as well?
Yes.
Ah, yeah.
Yes. So big up to Sami. Like, she literally showed me how to build a whole podcast setup and how to use it, because like I had no fucking idea how to use a mic and like how to use all the sound technical stuff, and it just worked. And for the podcast that inspired me, without really realizing that they did, it was Diary of a CEO from Stephen Bartlett.
Okay.
A few from Joe Rogan, of course, just like about the cool
Oh God.
people he's inviting. Though I think like the interaction between them is like
I
so
know what you mean.
fascinating.
Yeah, it's funny to look, but Joe Rogan is definitely not my most favorite podcast in the States. He's also a bit crazy, man. Just I mean,
He is.
Yeah.
But he's doing his own, and that was the vibe I wanted to recreate. Just like
Right.
in my field to do my thing as he's doing in America.
Yeah.
You know, not about who's interviewing, like what they're doing, but like the vibe and like what he's creating. Just like he got Elon Musk smoking and John
I know. It just sometimes it feels like, you know, I'm not judging you or anything. Sometimes it feels like he's using polarizing topics, knowing it's gonna get a lot of clicks, and not really. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like the way how he treats certain opinions are very dangerous, also for the Americans. And I personally, I'm also consuming a lot of American podcasts. I'm a big fan of the HV podcast, who regularly make a lot of fun of them. So maybe I'm opinionated, but I think it's doing a podcast in the States is something very different than doing a podcast in Germany, I feel like.
Yeah.
Now the podcast scene starts to grow a lot, and Audible is getting very big. They're looking for a lot of sound technicians, by the way, if anyone is looking for a job. And in America, it's much more, you know, the left and the right. It's, you know, the gray area in between doesn't really exist, like, for example, in Germany, in my opinion. And the reason why I like this H3 podcast so much is because there's no one on the left with such a big audience like them. And for example, Daily Wire is paying a lot of people to spread very dangerous information, for example, the abortion topic. And that's why I think, I don't know, if you don't know H3, please go and check it out because it's really interesting. And coming back to your format, they also work with picture. And
sweet.
that's something which makes you also different from the other podcasts, because you also have a strong visual opinion. I feel like you are a tattoo artist, so I guess that is part of your job. And I like how you incorporate that in your own podcast format.
Yeah. So about the podcast, to go back on a kind of positive opinion about them.
Right.
To go back to the Europeans, dive in with Ali Abdal is a great one. I can highly recommend as well. Like for me, it was more about educating myself while working and drawing. That was the aspect of the podcast I really liked, and I saw also like the big educational purpose that we have, especially in the scene. On all the different aspects, let it be the music, how to behave in a club, the drug use, of course, because like we see since Corona, there's like so much to do, and like that clubs are not the same, which is a good and a bad thing. Like in a good fact that like in a good that we're able to dance again, and like new artists are like popping up and like getting very like there's a new music genre as well. On the bad thing, I think that social media literally fucked up the whole scene, which puts you like you're more an influencer in the scene more than a real producer somehow. Like you just gotta like some artists, since they're not really taking care about their Instagram, are not
considered less good artists.
Exactly. Next to someone that has money to pay a content creator for them to push them.
I feel you.
I'm not saying that these people do not deserve to be where they are, don't get me wrong, but I'm saying like this is not fair anymore, and we gotta adapt.
Kind of expect artists to be good content creators, and that's not necessarily the same thing. It's two completely different jobs.
It is, and we see it ourselves as tattoo artists as well.
Yeah.
Like if I didn't had like Felix or Mathurin, also a big thank you to Mathurin for launching the project and creating all the aesthetics with Valentin as well, who's in Paris, so the team is
Shout out.
International. It was it's tough like to draw, to to tattoo, to find job, because like there's so many tattoo artists as well in town. And just like there's I think 3 kind of people in Berlin. There's DJs, tattoo artists, and people who work for Zalando. So
Yeah, cool.
and some of them do even both.
Okay, so can you say that name again of that podcast from earlier? What was it?
Deep dive.
Deep dive.
Deep dive from
Spotify.
Ali Abdal. It's on YouTube mainly.
YouTube. Cool.
And Ali Abdal is a production guru. Like he's a proper master, and like he told me everything about how to manage to do all these things that I'm doing nowadays without getting burned out, which kind of worked. And nowadays I have Anna to help me and like who scaled the business to the point that we have. So I'm so glad I have her as well to help on that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So, where are we on our note schedule? Still kind of introduction time, right?
Yes.
Okay. What else do we want to know? What do you want to share?
The team.
The team. Let's go.
The team. I'm talking a lot.
The team is sitting here in the cozy container next to us.
So
Let's start with Leon.
Yeah. So during the months of the development of the project, I tattooed Leon a few times, and he told me like, hey, that's such a cool project. I would love to be part of it somehow. Just like hit me up if you need anything. Leon, what do you have to say about that?
Yeah, it's like you already said. We got to know each other, I think, almost 2 years ago, and he became one of my tattooers. And yeah, we became friends, and then he told me about the project. And I was like, wow, really nice. And I was like, yo, if you need help with it, I would love to help you out with things that have to be done, or to support the project in any way. So yeah, then Jonathan was like, yeah, why not? So so when first episode was filmed, I was there for doing like artist care, like talking with the people who were invited for the podcast series, like doing stuff that had to be done. Also stuff like content creation, like filming while the guests were being interviewed, and also while being tattooed and stuff. And yeah, I really enjoy to be part of this project, and it's a lot of fun also working with the team, the fam. And also what I really like about the project is every time someone is getting invited for a podcast, you spend the whole day with the person, and it's really nice to get to know new people, and people who also tell inspiring things. And yeah, every time when we have like needle drop family meetings, you see them again because they are invited, and yeah, somehow also became friends. Yeah. What do you say about that?
Yeah, I was asking myself actually, Jonathan, have we been friends before? I mean, we knew each other, but I think like the friendship kind of grew out of that, right? I would say.
We partied together, which I don't
Obviously.
think it was obviously. We got common friends. This is how we met. We developed our party friendship at the club.
True.
And then I was like, hey, you have stories to tell. And I knew that you weren't doing drugs, for example. So the theme of sober raving, which was also one of the big themes of the project I wanted
Don't
to
spoil
have.
it too much.
Yeah, episode 3. Episode 3, go and watch it right now. It's on YouTube and it's super interesting. This was also one of the reasons I absolutely wanted to have you in the first ones. And then after the first episode, you kind of liked it. So
That's true, yeah. Yeah, maybe let's take some steps back. So, Jonathan, I know you contacted me at some point. We have been party friends, as I know now. No, but you contacted me and told me about this project, and I was super interested. But I remember that I was wondering, because I'm not a DJ, I'm not like a producer, or I'm not working in the club scene. So I was like, yeah, super interesting, but what do I have to contribute to that? And I remember that we had this conversation then 2 weeks after we spoke about that, and that we had the discussion actually about that it's so important to not only have these people in the podcast, but also people that are part of the scene, which are people that go out, people that, club guests, let's say, which made sense to me. So, I came to talk to you in the podcast. Was it 3 or 4 episode? 3 or 4? I don't know.
What do you mean? Episode, the third or fourth episode?
Yeah.
No, it was episode 4. Episode 4, sorry.
Right?
Shami
Right.
was the third one.
Yeah, true.
Shami was episode 3.
Anyways, so I was a guest at Needle Drop, and we talked a lot about several topics. Just watch it.
Yes.
And it was super interesting. And at that time, I was kind of a transition from an old job to a new job. So I had some free time as well. And I loved the idea of the project. I met so many nice people already. It was so much fun. And then I actually offered you to also help you, I think. And, it's like, sometimes it's like that, you offer help to people and it's like, yeah, for sure. And then you never hear anything back. And I remember that you called me a week after or something and said to me like, hey, I can actually really, really need your help. And so it started. And now we're here a few months later. I organized your chaos, as we always say. And it's a lot of fun. And as Leon said, I liked that Leon said it's the family meetings that we always have. That I also really enjoy, and that makes the community, and it's growing.
It is. It's kind of overwhelming somehow, I think, because when you see the amount of the little amount of time that we had to become such a thing, it's very small, but it's like condensed. And I've always wanted to create something big and to go fast, and just because I've been hold up my whole life, just like people say yeah, you want to go too big, too fast and all that. These people are watching.
Really?
These people are watching nowadays, so they see that it's possible. But the thing is, I'm so happy that it couldn't be a thing without you. So I needed the right people around it to make this happen, and it did.
I feel like crunching numbers on YouTube is very, very difficult, and I think Her is a good example how it can go, but you kind of constantly need to upload. I mean, they have terabytes of content there, and I just feel like YouTube is hard to knacken als Nuss. You know what I mean? It's like it's like to get into the algorithm that your videos actually show up on someone's feed or as suggested. I tried to play it around with it a little bit. I tried to play it around with metadata as well, which you can influence. Apparently, you can can go on the page and add some keywords. But I feel like YouTube is tough. Do you agree?
Social media stuff. Honestly, we don't give a damn about the numbers. We just do it, and that was also a thing. We decided just to do. You gotta be consistent, and you won't get the people if you don't talk to them. And this is also something we do kind of aggressive marketing. We just talk all the time about it to prove it. It's paying. We're here on the radio talking about it, so it works. And then we write also. When you open the chats of the Instagram group, it's horrible. You have literally 300 chats open of people we kind of regularly talking to. So it's a fucking lot of work. It's a job. Creating Instagram, social media manager is a job, and we're free on it. Try to answer as fast as I can when I do it, and it's nice because this is a good side of social media, which I really learned. Just okay, here people might not see what we do, and then we go directly and immediately to them, DM them. It's hey, let's connect. I like what you do. This is what I'm doing. For example, there's a guy I also wanna say hi and thank you, and a big up is Adam, aka Regent, the DJ producer. Paula Koski, the guest we had on the first episode, told us during her podcast about one of his track, which we used in his in the trailer of the podcast. And when the trailer came out and the episode came out, I just wrote him like, hey man, we really like what you do. Paula introduced you to your music, and here's what we're doing. We would love to, just like have a look if you're interested. And now we're friends.
Right.
And he's coming at every get together, and we're having fun.
Like a good example of mouth-to-mouth promotion and how just things develop.
Absolutely.
And do you sometimes feel also overwhelmed, or maybe you have a job, you have a private life, and sometimes you are in your home in Switzerland, and do you sometimes feel like it's all kind of voluntarily, you do it for the passion? Do you feel like sometimes it's getting, the workload is getting too much? Because in the beginning you said like, the number's not really important, and I feel that because it's very easy to get hung up on that and be like, it's just this and this place, it's just this and this place, and to be like, is this even paying out? What am I doing? Do you ever have these feelings of doubt already, or can you explain a little bit about the challenges of this project?
So,
sorry, that was.
I don't have one job. I have 3 jobs. Let's start with that. Private life does not exist. It's a lifestyle, so it's a 24/7 thing. I wake up in the morning, I think about it. I go to bed, I think about it. If I get some nightmares, I think about it. I have an amazing team and a great, like the very best emotional support ever. Thank you, Jelena. my girlfriend is she's amazing, really. Well, she needs support as well, I think, because everything she has support for me. So as I said before, fuck the numbers. We're just gonna go for it. We're gonna grind. We're gonna go for it, and like there is no plan B.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna go there. The whole team trusted me until now, and it's not now that it's gonna stop. It's just getting better, because like as I repeated already a few times, the project is getting big. We're gonna go there, and I don't know how, but we will. That was also like the leitmotif of the spirit, like since day one, and it just like worked. And right now we have like pretty big projects coming up, just like Amsterdam Dance Event. And
right, what's happening?
Oh, all good.
Yeah, are we gonna go into that later, or sorry? Where are we on the schedule?
It's a mess, but that's the spirit as well.
Okay, let me know if you want to talk
no,
about
we're good,
something,
we're good. Yeah, I'm just gonna, we can go back to it later. So we and then the Stadt nach 8, which is an international conference about nightlife, which takes place in Berlin in November. We got invited to have a whole panel about it, about what we're doing, and we're gonna make a conference about something we all deeply love and are part of. After not even a year of existence, it's a kind of pretty cool thing.
Yeah, it's
super
impressive.
proud.
80 is big. It's for the scene.
Yeah.
And if you would describe, like, is there a core activity of the of Needle Drop? Would you say the podcasts are the center of everything, and everything else kind of happens around it, or would you not even go that far to say the podcasts are the center? Like, how could you describe how could you describe Needle Drop to someone who doesn't know it at all in a few basic sentences?
So the ND project is, as we're gonna call it now, is very diverse. Needle Drop is tattooing, it's photography, it's a podcast, it's club culture, but that's the ND project. So ND project is just like what we're doing. It's like mixed art.
And is it also a bit intentional that you leave some space for yourself for the future to maybe make an event there or an exhibition there, or like is it purposefully that you kind of you're not saying I'm only making podcasts about club culture, that would be very centered and focused on one thing, and it feels like you're giving yourself a little bit more freedom to have a bit wider range.
Well, the thing is, I told that Anna a few times already, and I was like, Anna, we're gonna do everything we say.
Right.
It's just a matter of time. And in the ideas we want to make, to go back on the very first idea of the project, is to make a book. We want to make an archive of everything that's done, that we do right now. Because when I watch like all these documentaries about the start of the scene, like let it be Tresor or like the whole voguing scene in New York or the debut of Chicago House and all that, just like have goosebumps and it's like shit, I wanted to be there. But like what we're living right now with the whole club scene, the whole festivals, what we live in Berlin nowadays, let it be the whole scene Tresor, which was the first club I went to in Berlin, or everything we have the chance to live at Berghain, or the lineup, so like these raves and all that. This is fucking amazing. We're living a key period of club culture, and now it's getting mainstream, so it's very, like, it is mainstream. Club culture is mainstream. The keeping point was, I think, in 2015, but like what we're living right now, there is such an amazing scene that stays in the dark, far away from social media, and now we use social media as a way to promote what's happening in the dark.
All right. So, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So it's kind of like a snapshot of the current where we at, and
Yes.
to kind of einfangen, you embrace everything what's happening. And since you are very well connected, I think you have a very sharp and precise look on everything what's going on and to a lot of actors. So it's kind of, like a diary. Maybe.
Yes,
A
yes,
diary.
yes. Yeah, well, yes. Yeah, there is all.
Don't want
all
to
these
put words in
things.
your mouth. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, it is. I have to laugh because like that's the account of my personal account, which is Needle Drop Diary, where I try to be a little bit more personal because like right now we're full on business with the Needle Drop Tattoo account,
Right.
and I think it's very important for us like to remind ourselves why we're doing what we do, how we looked like, because
I like
we do create a lot of photo and video content next to that kind of backstage content, which is gonna be very cool to see in 20 or 30 years when we're gonna be grown-ups, I guess. And just like to say like, hey, remember when we used to do that,
Love that.
and to make the impact that brought me to launch the project. Because this is something I've been thinking sound since I'm like 10 years old. And I think I realized that I didn't really realize where I was going to go and to land. But right now I'm at the level of the guys I used to admire until now. Where I was like, hey, right now we're doing these kind of cool things and we want to help the younger people to rise and to do, like to inspire them.
And to
do cool
educate as
stuff.
well, right?
We talked about it already.
Yeah. Okay.
Anna, Leon, is there something you would like to say to complete what I said?
No, not to complete. I think you're right with everything you said. But I would also say like now today, to go back to the initial question of what Needle Drop is actually, or the ND project. I think the center is now, of course, the podcast, because this is what we are spending the most time on. This is what we are publishing and what the people see. But I think it is growing to so much more. Also, for example, we organized some get-togethers, so we are trying to also build up the community to bring people together that have the same interest or do the same things, or not even, like, it's just about inspiring each other and stuff like that. And then of course it will end in much content and stuff that will last forever, hopefully. Leon, anything to add from your side?
To be honest, not to add, but I'm really looking forward to everything that is going to happen with the project. Like, it's already, since we started, it became so big and also so like diverse. We are not only doing, like you already said, not only doing the video podcast, but also like already organized the Flash Day with Nachtschicht in Leipzig, which was really cool. Also like the family meetups, like the get-togethers, like 2 weeks ago it was, I think, 2 weeks ago at Senna. Yeah, which was also really nice to see all the people again. And also a few months ago we also made like a friends and family party, which was bigger than the get-togethers, together as the birthday of Anna, where also people were playing like music, and was a cool vibe there. And yeah, I'm really curious and super looking forward to what will happen in the future. Yeah.
Plans about the future.
Also, like what we already were like kind of planning or already wanted to do, but like postponed, was after the Flash Day in Leipzig. We thought about maybe like hosting a party like after the Flash Day in the club, where some locals of Leipzig would be playing, and also some friends of ours in Berlin. But I think we will do it maybe next year.
We will. Yeah, that's one of the project is like Ninja is expanding to an we don't want to say an event series, but because we don't want to focus on that, but like to make what we've done and like the people we brought together to offer quality lineups, and like from time to time just like bring the whole community together, like especially the people who are following us online, for them to finally connect as well and to meet us and to create this proximity, because social media is an amazing thing at the end, like despite all the shit that's on there, and we really want to use it as in the very best way.
Yeah,
I think that's important to us.
Absolutely. Social media is like the tool you work with to present everything to the people, to let them know what's happening.
Yeah.
And we have to use the tool correctly in order to make our thing.
Yeah, and to stay true to ourselves as well, like, because you can sell yourself in a bad way, but I think you can, by being genuine and really authentic and connected to friends and people and all that, you can really do cool things. For example, my career is my tattooing career is also taking a new turn right now. Thank you, Suzanne, Les Animaux Sauvages, it's Noir Tattoo for this. She contacted me on Instagram this summer, and I started with a guest spot, and they immediately offered me a residency at their shop, which is a crazy big shop in Neukölln. My books are open, so if you want a tattoo, DM me. And that's the kind of thing. Then you get to meet other people, super cool other artists, and connect, and like international people again, like guys and women and other coming from all around the world, just like to get a tattoo or like to work and all these things. And the other day we had a Flash Day, which was unfortunately on the same day than our get together, so I had to leave a little earlier. But like you have this same kind of community feeling with these people as well, and it's just like good vibes and good times, and you do cool things with cool people, and that is really the spirit of Neil Drop.
I see. I understand. So it so happens that those two cultures, they're not necessarily dependent on each other. Not everyone who likes tattoos likes techno, and not everyone who likes techno likes tattoos. But there are two communities which have a lot of overlap, I feel like, especially in Berlin. To be honest, I didn't know that. I'm not really in the tattoo scene, so I didn't know much about that. But I feel like through your eye, through your vision, I kind of realized that there is something going on. There's a connection. But that's not necessarily dependent on each other, right? Like I said before, that's also a bit coincidence, no?
Well, the thing is, when you go in clubs, you will see, especially in Berlin, like tattooing became a huge thing. Like it was already, but like right now, especially in cities like Berlin, it's becoming huge. And a good 60 to 70% of the people who go to clubs do have at least one little tattoo.
And maybe that's a relation that while techno is becoming salon-fähig and mainstream, also tattoos are nothing to be ashamed anymore. We're not in the 60s.
Depends where you live.
Had to. Yeah, it
depends
does.
when you live. Yeah.
Are you referring to your home, Switzerland? Or?
Oh no, they had to accept it. And I'm also making my money there, like a lot of it. So it's. I was more thinking about the small places, small towns and all that. Even in Berlin, like I tattooed lately a guy, and he was like, yeah, I can go, like I can get tattooed on my arms until here because I have to hide it at work, where it's like, it's okay.
I also remember my parents still, like when I got my first tattoos, they also said like, make sure you can hide it at work, you know, like, and now it doesn't matter anymore, but like it's not that far away, you know, like it's yeah, not many years ago that this was a thing, and I think for many people it's still like,
It is,
of course, depends on the industry and depends where you work and stuff like that, but I think for us it's like super easy, and we don't really think about it anymore. But yeah, as I said, it's not too far away.
Berlin is a bubble on every aspect. Berlin
100%.
is a, yeah.
I feel like that as well. When you live here for a long time, you kind of forget that there's another Germany out there, and you kind of
world.
you normalize your worldview. And for example, at the beginning of the year, I worked a lot in Germany, in the rest of Germany, and I drove around with the car, and I realized, dude, this is just my personal little bubble I'm moving in all the time, and I'm getting so used to it that sometimes in my naivety I assume that the wokeness and the openness and the diversity, which is important for me, is also slowly reaching the rest of Germany, but the truth is just not. And I'm still amazed. I wouldn't even count Berlin to Germany, to be honest.
You can't. Like even to other big cities, if you've been to London and Paris, like it's big cities as well, but it's like it's different. Every big city has its own vibe, and like Berlin is it's a zoo. Like I often call it like this. Like we're all animals evolving in this kind of huge zoo, and then you gotta learn which kind of person you want to be, and be careful because it can be very dangerous in these areas we're moving in, especially the club life.
Absolutely. Like I would also say like Berlin isn't Germany. Like it's so different compared to the rest of Germany. Like the same as you would say London isn't England. And
only because of the weather.
yeah. I mean, when I absolutely know what you mean with Berlin is a bubble. It is, and I feel it every time I leave Berlin. For example, when I drive to the south of Germany to visit my friends.
Where are you from exactly again, Leon? I forgot, I'm sorry.
Easy. Actually, I'm from the south of Germany, from Bavaria. From a city called Ingolstadt. It's between München and Nuremberg.
Oh yeah.
And I moved to Berlin 3 years ago. Almost 3.5 years ago now. And every time
Corona child.
Yeah. Yeah. And every time I leave Berlin, and for example, when I'm in the south of Germany, I instantly feel like, okay, I completely forgot about how different it actually is compared to where I'm from. And every time when I'm spending some days in the south and come back to Berlin, I was like, okay, now I'm back in my natural habitat where I belong to.
In the jungle.
Yeah, in the concrete jungle.
I feel like this might be a good moment to talk about Jonathan, huh? I don't like Jonathan. Okay. To talk about Jonathan's hometown, Bern, the capital of Switzerland. Tell us about the electronic music scene in Bern.
It's Sion. Bern. Bern as a Bern is the capital. Yes, I just went there to work a few weeks ago. But yeah, Sion is it's a postcard. Sion is a postcard. It's in the middle of Valais. Valais is in German. It's a beautiful place, and I had the chance to grow up there. I was a ski teacher next to my studies, and studied graphic design, and we had a very limited club and nightlife, I would say. And
what kind of genres would they mostly push?
you don't want to know. It was this kind of parties where people just get smashed, drink way too much to entertain themselves, and music-wise. And I think, well, that's not totally true, because I learned only a few years ago that there were kind of nice parties, but it was way too niche when I was still living there. and that was like 10 years ago. So I didn't really had like also like as a student you don't have a lot of money, and like when you have to go to some town like some other town and like go to see the people and the DJs and artists you want, like it's gonna be very expensive, especially in Switzerland. So we had to take the car and like to go quite a way, just like at least 1 hour to Lausanne or like even to Geneva for like 2 hours, just like to have a proper club and to have like this club feeling with artists that were what we thought the good ones.
Yeah, I mean, these things change, no hate, respect for everyone and for every genre of electronic dance music. But I can imagine that, I mean, Switzerland itself has a big variety of festivals, very well curated and awesome. I do consider Switzerland a music country, but I do not consider it necessarily a techno country. I mean, it's just my little small opinion. Sure, there are clubs, there are amazing people there who do amazing stuff. And what about tattooing? Did that start in Switzerland for you, or did that came later? Did you already mention it? I'm sorry.
So, yeah, just to go back on the Swiss festivals. So my hometown didn't have a very rich club culture and like party cultures. It was mostly go to bars, having fun there, like ski resorts, all that. But like music-wise, like in the music scene, I would say we had to go to bigger towns, just like Lausanne, Geneva, Zurich, and all that. But the festival culture is very good and very well curated, as you said. That would be the Paleo Festival in Lyon, where I worked for 6 years, or the Montreux Jazz, where I also worked for 2 years, and that was...
Can you give me a job, maybe?
You want? I can might connect you actually, yes.
Yeah, I would love to work on a festival in Switzerland once.
Yeah, so that was great. Like honestly, to be able to work as a teenager and at the very beginning of my 20s for these people had a huge influence on my musical interest and like the way that I wanted to do something in the music business as well. When I see like, hey, you can make people happy and organize all these huge events and like make people dance, that was like the kind of a big turn for me. And to go to the tattooing scene, well, Switzerland is still conservative compared to cities like Berlin. I don't think you can even compare them, but I do because I see both. And it has a very rich story. Like there is a total legend of the field called Philippe Le. He is a guy that has been tattooing since he's 12 and is over 50 now. So I let you imagine the level he has. And he's also a good friend of the guy who did my first tattoo 10 years ago. And now I'm working at this guy's shop, Isra from Golden Mandala and Sion, and it's amazing to be able to contact and connect with these people, because at the end, like, they've been in the field forever, and like when you were still literally a child, like they started tattooing, and or even like they were at the beginning of their career, and like right now we're working with them. That's absolutely insane. So you had to know the people, I would say. But once you're there, it can be very interesting. And
I can imagine. Might that be maybe a good suggestion for a podcast? Could you get a hold of this person, or maybe too expensive, huh?
Sorry?
Yeah, for your podcast. As a guest.
You want me to interview your dad? How that?
What was the name of this person again? The legend, the tattooing legend?
Philippe Le.
Yeah.
This guy. Yeah. But I'm not sure he's into the club scene, and because that's what it's about.
Right. It needs to have both words.
But yeah, who knows?
Is he more rock and roller or something? What is he?
I think so. So, from what I know, he's living in a village called Sainte-Croix in the canton of Vaud. And it's a very isolated space, and he's doing conventions when he's moving. But that's next level. Like what he's doing, Philippe Le, go Google it. Like it's very impressive. Like you probably saw that. Like most of the Japanese dragon, like all these kind of bodysuits in Switzerland are done by him.
Wow. How do you choose guests for your podcast normally? Do they naturally come to you? Do you have a list of people you really would like to have on? Or how does it work?
Now it's a mess. We have... Oh, Anna?
It's not a mess anymore. Excuse me. Do you want to explain or should I?
Anna, do it, please. You want to
No,
talk?
so maybe also to go back where it started. I remember that Jonathan sent me tons of people that he was interested in interviewing, and then we started structuring it a little bit, I would say. And of course it depends also if the people are interested or not, but I think so far no one said no.
Yes, we had one person who said no, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, like they, yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot. Thank you for reminding me this. Yes, we had one person who said no.
That's okay. But yeah,
And how do you prepare for a podcast? How much work is it to set something like this up? How much hours go into that? And can you explain a bit more about the process?
Oh, ask Anna.
Let's go.
okay. Yeah, I mean, I can't tell you how many hours exactly, but what we do is, of course, a little research before, but mostly we know the people. One of us knows the person already, or is friends or whatever. But this is also how we choose the people, so we know a little bit already. But then, of course, do a little research. Then we invite the guests and also ask them about maybe topics they don't want to talk about, which is fair enough, or they especially want to talk about. And then, so we ask some questions.
Just a quick thing, that's the preparation. So we do have a meeting before we actually do the shooting, and we started with only people that we knew. And like right now, it's just as Anna said, like friends and friends from friends. So we made our research, we know who we invite, and we talk about everything before we do the shooting.
Yeah. But the shooting itself is a conversation, and this is really important to us, that this is also keeping this natural character, and we don't have like this like catalog of questions that we are going through, like here a little bit, like we prepared, but still it's going like its path, like naturally, and that's how we want to have it kind of. So it should be easy, and everyone should be able to talk about what he or she wants.
We don't want to go too formal too, because like all the other medias are doing this, and honestly, that's for them. We want to show who are the real people from the scene, who they really are, what do they really think about what Anna just said. Because like, yeah, it's nice to be DJ XYZ, but like, who is that person? It's not just a name. Like, that person has fears, projects, vision on different things, and this is all the subjects we want to talk about on the project. Plus, as already mentioned, we don't want to have only the artists, but like also the other actors of the night behind it. Let it be just the ravers, or like the technicians, or the bookers, or other people from the field that are going on the dance floor on the weekend, because like we all have a story and interesting things to tell.
Yeah.
And then I can imagine creating an atmosphere where your opponent feels comfortable enough and relaxed to have this kind of natural talk is part of your challenge, part of your task in that moment, I guess.
Absolutely. I mean, maybe I can talk about my observations, because as you know, it's also about tattooing. So usually it's first a tattoo session and then the podcast. So you already have conversations. We already take content before we actually go into the conversation. Which is on purpose, to be honest, because when you get a tattoo, maybe Jonathan can explain that a little bit better, but if you get a tattoo, you always like so much lifted up afterwards. So you have you are in the vibe already, which is kind of the vibe we want to create. Plus, we of course it's not Jonathan and the person only, but usually there are 2 or 3 people more, and we just try to get into usual conversations beforehand. So we just really go into the vibe of just having this conversation. Plus, then we have our lightnings, which are also, of course, creating an atmosphere, and yeah. And what I mean, I can say it from my point of view, because I was also guest. You completely forget the camera, which is so nice, and so, yeah, you just really feel like I'm sitting here with Jonathan in a bar maybe, or in a cafe, and you have a conversation, and it's not feeling like, oh my god, that's getting recorded. And I think you can feel that in the content we create and in the things that people say and how they talk about themselves also.
Leon, how was it for you? Like you've been assisting the first shootings like since day one, like the shooting since day one, and like how did you see that? We never talked about it.
Yeah, it's like first of all, when we meet up, I think every time when we have a shooting, we meet up at 10 o'clock in the morning, get some breakfast or some drinks for Jonathan, for me, for whoever is there, also for the guests. Ask them what they want to drink, like just prepare everything and talk a bit and like just prepare ourselves for the day and like make kind of a plan what is being done first, what comes afterwards. But usually it's like that. The stencil is being like printed out. Then Jonathan is putting it on, for example, the leg of the person who's getting tattooed, and then the tattoo is being done. While tattooing, we are also like talking about things. I'm also talking with the guests while they are being tattooed. It's also really interesting to get to know the people who are the guests. Afterwards, when the tattoo is done, it's usually lunchtime, so we're getting some food. We almost every time we went to, what's the place called again?
Oh, I don't remember, but we used to eat delicious, like the only good falafel like in whole wedding when we're still shooting there.
Falafel and köfte sandwich,
köfte,
love it.
Classic.
After that we go back to the studio or whichever location we are filming. Then we take some pictures of the tattoos, and then slowly prepare for the shooting actually. And then the shooting is being done. I think, how much time does it take?
1 to 2 hours.
1 to 2 hours.
Yeah.
Depends on if we have to make cuts or if it's filmed in one take. Yeah. After that, we pack everything together again, like the equipment, and maybe get a beer or two, talk about the day, and then leave home again.
But I mean, we also had situations which was super interesting when we made a break, for example, and then we got back to a conversation which was super interesting. And then at some point we realized, oh my God, wait, let's go back and sit down and like record it, because there were so many nice conversations that came out of like, I don't know, when we talked about, okay, maybe what's the next topic or whatever. And then we thought like, oh my God, this is like so interesting right now. We have to go back and record that.
I think the reason why we have such a good atmosphere between the team and the guests is because I saw the interaction between a tattooist and his or her clients was missing. I learned in a good, amazing tattoo studio, like great service. The people who showed me are great artists, and I also saw the things where I knew, okay, this is something I can make better, and to offer the human aspect of it, and to be as kind as possible, and to be interested, and to give the person the very best feeling. Because like when you get tattooed, to answer that one question, yes, it hurts. So you decide to get pain, and we as tattooists inflict pain to someone, and it's a process that might be not as nice as we think. So we're doing the very best to offer the best moments ever to the person, to make the person feel well, and then we get interested in that person, because of course, like, the people who we invite are people we want to get something out from, like what they're doing, what they think about all this, etc. And then so they kind of forget what they're living, but like what they're gonna do. But the interesting fact is, what I saw during the first shootings is that in like the first hour, the person was a little bit nervous because of course something totally new. You're around people you do not necessarily know. To get tattooed is one thing because like most of them were literally or like already tattooed. Shami wasn't, for example, but he had a total trust in us, and he did, and all of our guests felt great. And the vibe was, you could see the vibe growing, like become better and better over the day. And at the end of the day, you're like, shit, I don't want to go home now.
And so intimate, yeah. This is like a whole deep thing, yeah. In one day, you really dive into the reality and the sensitivity of a person as well. I'm just realizing when you said pain, I'm like, right, this shit actually hurts.
It does.
Yeah, and also, as you said, like this vibe, you don't want to go home. This is what we actually want to transfer to other people. Also, when we then, we do prepare a lot. We also produce then, but also there comes something after. And with all the content we shoot and with all the things we do, we want to exactly transfer this feeling that we have with this person or with this group of people. And our Felix, who's unfortunately not here today, is doing an amazing job by creating this nice content.
He's
and
documenting it. That's crazy.
Yeah. And I hope that we are successful in that. But that's I would say our main goal, to really show who the people are, who are we, and what is really moving the scene, and not only just like consuming clubbing or consuming tattooing also, but there's so much more behind that, and this is what we want to transfer to people.
I was wondering, are the episodes also just the audio files on Spotify? I didn't check.
Yes, so we're in Spotify, and funny that you said that. If someone has an explanation for this technical aspect, like the last video is only sound and not video, so we can also have videos on Spotify, but no one watches that.
Really?
Yes, don't ask why. Like if you go on our account, you can see the 5 first episodes are with video, and the next, like the YouTube format, is with the image.
Right.
And
because I find it sometimes if I'm in the S-Bahn, I would like to listen to a podcast, but then YouTube's kind of annoying because it needs to stay open while listening to it, so then Spotify might be a good way to go.
We are in both platforms,
cool.
So we already aimed at, and we're still kind of figuring out what platform we want to stay on. For example, we are also posting like the snippets we do take off from the podcast and the teasers on TikTok, but it's not really working, and I don't think we should invest too much energy right now on that. Like maybe in the future when we're gonna grow, but like right now it's okay to leave it a little bit on the side.
Okay, fair enough. I'm sure there would be also a lot of funding available. Have you ever tried looking into this direction a little bit for your project? Funding from the Berlin city?
Yeah, we will have to. The thing is, we're currently facing this administrative details we're currently doing, and once this is set up, we're gonna go into the proper fund research and all that. But like we're preparing, like presentation of the project is done. We're doing an introduction right now, and like it's still a mess. It's still going on, but not a mess, but like it's still that's one of the thing which is going very slow, because like we're focused on the production, and this is just things where we're waiting for people to answer, and like this whole administrative things is just like something that makes me feel really anxious, because like this is not my language. And especially in Germany, it's also like in a language that it's not my mother tongue, and like administrative German is German for Germans.
To be honest, I'm German and I don't understand.
There you go. Yeah, and that explains a lot about that. So this is a good thing about being from another country, in my case Switzerland, where I can do that also there to get the money there and have it kind of double finance on both sides. Plus we're gonna launch the crowdfunding in the meantime, so that we can finance the bigger projects that are coming up. And once this is gonna be here, we're gonna be able to finance the bigger material, to go high in productions, to slowly get ourselves salaries and all that, and properly from this vision we're all putting all our energy into.
And the studio where you film, is this in your apartment, or?
Okay, so it was different studios. So we had like 7 7. I don't remember. We had like 5, or like let it be between 5 and 6 episodes. And old tattoo shop where I was tattooing, which was great. Like the guy who I was tattooing with was totally okay for me to start that, and then he was not really into it anymore, and that's okay. And we separated path. So I was very thankful like to be able to do that there. So we had this very minimalistic setup with only a blank white wall with the two Marcel Breuer chairs.
Yeah, the chairs.
And then he
Kind of
like
signature for
yeah.
the podcast, right? The chairs.
And then that's how you start. So in the future, we're gonna get these chairs back.
Yeah.
But since we had to develop the concept, like it just happened naturally that we had to continue to do other things. So we had 2 podcasts at my place, like in my apartment. That was a fun one. Then we're gonna do a collab with the brand Volchok and a friend of mine who's called Mariantina. She has an amazing account called MRDNA on Instagram. You can follow it. She exploded it this summer, and like she's an interior architect, and she's doing a great job by collecting what is that, gems in the vintage chairs and all that. Like it's very impressive the job she
Also
does.
another way of creating a community and to get someone in. And yeah, I see. Yeah, I'm getting the idea slowly.
And we mix the arts, and then like this is gonna be what I think as a big stepstone in the project is the next podcast. Like the 3 next podcasts are going to be the collaboration, like the showcase of the distillery in Leipzig.
Cool.
And this showcase is what I envisioned 1 year ago. It's to mix tattooing and club culture and to tattoo on an empty dance floor by day. So to find the contrast between day and night, this kind of very hectic field of the nightlife when you have thousands of people on the dance floor dancing to very loud sound, while by tattooing you're alone with your client or you have colleagues around you, and it's a very calm and relaxed atmosphere. And I could tattoo on a dance floor, and like we were the last ones to be able to enter that legendary club that is Distillery. And I think we didn't really realize what we've done until the end of the shooting, and you will see the content. Felix made an amazing job. Really, that's one of the best ones we've done.
Yeah, no, I mean also in general, like imagine being in an empty club. Have you ever been to an empty club? I think that's such a like. Yeah, sometimes, yeah, but like I think this is also a very different experience. So the first time I went to an empty club, feels so like the room feels so much, sometimes bigger, sometimes smaller. It's like you feel how much more, I don't know, living is in this room. When obviously when people are there, but how it changed when a party starts or when a party ends also. But I think it's a very interesting vibe to produce a podcast or something like that in this empty room where you know what is happening there, and maybe a few days, a few hours, few days, whatever later. It's and to create another vibe there and to create something new. Yeah, I think that's also.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so different. Club without people and also with lights on where you can see everything, compared to a club full of people which is dark and with fog and you can't see everything properly. So I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, very interesting. So yeah, I'm super much looking forward to all these things. I mean, I wasn't there at Distillery, unfortunately. I got spammed with content from there, and I was having big FOMO, I have to say. I mean, I was also super proud to see Distillery. For people like from Berlin or Leipzig, it's history, you know, like club history. And super proud to see what they've created there. Just amazing.
Yeah, I cannot wait. Because I was gonna say, wouldn't be it an idea to create a fixed studios place? But then you started talking about this, and my mind started bursting. And it's amazing, and you can, you know, for example, interview the residents of the place, and then having them in this empty space maybe sparks another idea in their mind. And I think that's a really great idea. But would you like to establish a fixed studio place for the podcast?
I need the sugar daddy for that.
Yeah, right.
I'm already on it.
Yeah.
Jelena is cool with that as well. She said that, hey, we need to, so
Mm.
get your ass out and do that.
Mm. Do you feel like you could get more interviews in clubs, however, with certain
No, we're just
people?
gonna get faster. Like the promotion, we're just gonna get faster to where we want to. The only thing that's working against that somehow right now is the time. But the finance is gonna follow, and like everything's gonna be good. Like I'm not worried at all. Just a question of time. Because like
Cool.
the project's solid, people are following us, the enthusiasm of the team, and the work we've created is there. And like people who want to run with us, like they will, and the people who can't, it's just because like who won't, it's just because they can't. So it's always the same thing. It's money in our industry. Well, like industry it's always a money problem, unfortunately. But we all gotta get a living out of it, and this is where we're going. And yeah, we worked very hard, and we're gonna get our like the support, the necessary support we want to.
I mean, and as said, like there are so many places that we did not discover yet, and there are also things in planning, very interesting things in planning, I have to say. I mean, we have tons of ideas and tons of places we want to, also places that you maybe, I don't want to spoiler, but that you maybe wouldn't imagine. I mean, we were talking about clubs, studios and stuff like that, but we have other ideas. So wait for it to come. And also now we are going, as Jonathan said, we are going to ADE and also a conference actually. And yeah, maybe Jonathan can tell something about that.
Stadt nach 8. I could talk for days about it.
Please don't. We don't have.
No, I won't. I won't. But it's Stadt nach 8 is it's amazing. Stadt nach 8 is a conference about nightlife where we talk about education, health. Like there's 4 pillars: health, politics, all the. I'm sorry, I forgot the 2 others. But anyway, like we talk about everything that's happening into nightlife in a conference. So all the important aspect of nightlife, let it be like economics, health, like what's happening. Like it's also inspired Needle Drop a lot about this serious aspect. It's more, I would say, like this is kind of worldwide thing, and we're doing it on a podcast thing. And like they bring all the big people from the scene. Let it be like the club owners from Berlin, the club commissions from Berlin and Köln.
I was gonna ask if the conference is in Berlin.
Yes.
Right.
So it's gonna be in Berlin from November 16 to 18. Thursday to Saturday. I highly encourage you to come because like there is many panels, very interesting by the big names and just like the people who make everything that we're living nowadays happening. Like
And you can just sign up and maybe pay
you
a
can get
ticket.
tickets online.
Yeah.
So Stadt nach 8 Berlin
Stadt nach 8 Berlin, everyone.
and promo code with
Promo code Needle Drop.
we're not maybe next year. Like this year is not.
So it's an industry convention for industry people. And I mean, there are different layers of the industry, right? There's
Yes.
like small grassroots projects, there's like big labels, there's like clubs. Is that all together, or what do you?
The thing is, like, you have the politicians, you have doctors, you have the police as well, who is talking about the criminality and everything that's going on, because like we're involved in an industry where there is a use of chemical substances, and like this has to be controlled. Also, this is the reason why the people from the hospitals are there, like to talk about, hey, why do people consume more cocaine or ketamine than a few years ago, and like why is G such a problem nowadays, and what does like they do this kind of prevention about all this. So I earned a lot by going there and working for them. Like I started as a graphic designer 5 years ago. Like it's going to be the 4th year, but at the beginning it was like every 2 years, and since last year it's every year. So there's a German edition and a worldwide edition, and the worldwide edition is like every 2 years, and like next year it's going to be Germany again. So they're bringing speakers from all around the world. There is like Dimitri Hegemann from Tresor that's coming. There is Roxy from Nur Böse in Köln. They're doing this super cool fetish parties there, and like they're doing a great job about educating people about just like all the codes that you should respect if you want to be part of the British community, which is not like what you see on Instagram by wearing Amazon harness and a cycling glass. That's not techno.
Education is everything, right?
It is. And we're gonna have our own panel, which is kind of a little bit overwhelming nowadays, but in a good way, so that the imposter syndrome is hitting very hard right now about, okay, wait, hold on, the project is like 1 year old, and you want us to be on stage and to talk about this in front of the other people. And when you know that you're gonna share stage with, there is also the guy from Burning Man, that created Burning Man, that's gonna be there, and like the different German
he's gonna
politicians.
receive a lot of questions this
he is. Yeah, when I saw him the other years, it was like, it's like when you see like your idol or like a superstar you really like, and it's amazing to see and to be able to share like stage with this kind of people.
There's a reason why you are invited, and maybe it's exactly that you are operating how you operated and since when you're operating. I think it sounds like this panel is a mix of different speakers.
Yes.
Shouldn't be nervous. I feel like, if they didn't want you there, then
what makes me nervous is more the organization that's before it. The rest I don't mind. Like, it's just I know my stuff. It's more about like, hey, I'm figuring out who I'm gonna have on stage with me. I have an idea. It's gonna be good. It's just like we're negotiating right now, so
you can really represent your perspective, and I think it's a nice opportunity for you also to get heard, not only for your operation but for similar and smaller operations.
It's interesting what you said, because
big power comes big responsibility.
Yeah. It is, and that's exactly the point. Is like, I mean, I'm talking a lot, and like, I think you all got that.
Are you?
But at the end, it's not about me. It's about the people we invite. So who do we put on the other side of the microphone? Because I'm in every episode, and like the team is around me all the time. They have to support me. So, but the guests, the people we invite and want to talk. This is what we invite the people because we think, okay, you have something interesting to say. And nowadays, we're developing on the bigger formats where it's not gonna be only one person on stage, but different. And we all had many different super interesting discussions, mainly in clubs over the past months and years. And I think that right now it's the moment of getting these amazing people on stage to talk about this publicly, to make a difference. Plus, we're going to be the only one to record our talk on the Stadt nach Acht, which is going to put us on the next level of the project and push Stadt nach Acht as well, because Mark and Raimund, the two curator of the Stadt nach Acht, thank you again for your trust and the dedication, and just to believe in me and our project. It's a thing to be able to be around these legends of the scene, because like they created this field when we were children, and right now we're with the big boys.
Yeah, but this is also like what I wanted to say. It's so nice that we also get now the opportunity to have another audience and more people that see what we are doing and what we're talking about and what our guests' opinion is. Because like what also one of the ideas of the project is to make all this content accessible to people that maybe don't have access to it, which is now, of course, again, a little bit more closed up. But since we are recording it, it's also nice that we can go this path to still be able to give access to this information, to these people, to these personalities, to inside of the club scene. That's also very, very great.
Very cool. Yeah, I was gonna ask, is there a way to, without being on a convention, hear this panel talk? Because you just said you're recording it, right?
Yeah, we will. So we will put it online, and it's gonna be just a kind of a special episode of Neil Drop. So the format evolves and it changes, and we have this kind of special format which we have in mind. Just like, for example, the distillery showcase, and Stadt nach Acht is gonna be a special format.
Very cool. Yeah, Nice. Awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you. And for the rest of the year, yeah, it's gonna be like this is gonna be like the last big thing. We're already full with the production, no, not with the production, the post-production of the next podcast. We shot 14 episodes until now. Yes, it's a lot. It's we have 500 gigabytes of material we're trying to put online, which is a lot and very overwhelming to. No, but that's the magic of social media. You have to adapt to the formats, create reels, create videos, decide when do you post what and all that. Plus, next to it, you gotta I gotta make my old tattoo stuff and just like say I do have time, come get tattooed and all this stuff.
So you how long do you need per episode for post-production until it's ready to upload? What, a week, a day, a month?
Oh, I know.
Like I would say it really depends on the production itself, because sometimes you have really a conversation that is one shot and then it's almost ready to post, kind of, which is not, let's say, it's not saying anything about the quality, don't get me wrong, but sometimes you also talk a lot and then you go really deep into topics and maybe a little bit too long, which is completely okay. And this is what I said before, this like natural way of having a conversation, and this is why we let it happen still. But this is, I would say, highly depending on how long it is, because we also don't want to make like an episode like 3 hours long or something. It should be.
Hey,
still
we never did that. Come on.
No. But this is why I'm saying that it really depends on how much content we shot and how much content we have to go through and stuff like that. But I would say a week. If
So
we would like put it
this is also part of the big changes we had over the past months, is the implication of everyone in the team, and we decided to accelerate the production pipeline to everyone does something special, and Anna took over the parts about cutting off the parts which are not as good, like the good parts that are not, we keep, wait, how do you say
that sounds like such a negative job.
no,
No,
but like,
no, but it
she
isn't.
removes the part where we think, okay, this is something that does not really matter. Like we want to keep the very best and not only the best. I think that's a good
I
resume.
understand. Yeah, I was gonna ask, like, I feel like if you produce content, sometimes you're so in the process that it's hard to step back and see, like, okay, how does this actually come across? What do we
Anna.
want to say? And then, no?
Anna, I don't see it anymore. I'm too deep in the subject.
Right?
This is why
Yeah.
I asked, like, hey Anna, please do it. I can't watch the episodes again, because like when I see it, I remember kind of what we talked about, and I'm okay, yeah, that's cool, and I remember that, and then I think about it even more, and this is one of my personal things where I'm thinking about all the time, just like I need to give that to the team so that they do what they do best, and in that case for Anna, I just like to be essential and to structure and organize my chaos, as we already joked about before.
Yeah, but we also, like, while we produce, we already try to kind of give it a little bit of structure. So write down things that we say, like, okay, in that moment that was really good. That is something we really want to highlight. Sometimes we do a cut and say, like, hey, this is so interesting, go deeper into that, and stuff like that. So it starts already while we're producing. And as Jonathan said, I remember from our conversation, I also couldn't remember anymore. If you are in this talk, it's like gone, kind of. And it's not only me, I have to say, it's also Leon and Felix who pay attention to that. And yeah, but thank you for saying my name that often.
Well, thank you, Anna, for making order in this mess and keeping it clear for everyone. If you look back at your old episodes, do you feel that your interview skills have changed? Are there things you don't do anymore, or are there things you do now because of?
Of course.
Or do you not look at your own content and be like, oh my god, I cannot listen to my own voice?
No, I wouldn't be. I just looked back at it and I'm fucking proud, to be honest. Just like, hey, we had no idea of what we were doing, we just did. And then it was like 8 months ago when I see the results we do have now. I'm proud. Look, it's very
Cool.
positive. You don't compare
You
yourself
can
to.
be proud, bro.
Thank you, Leon. No, really, like the
Being
whole.
a good interviewer is difficult. Needs a lot of empathy. You need to be patient. You need to kind of, steer the conversation. I think it's a challenge.
You are doing a great job, by the way.
Thank you. I'm sometimes listening back to old recordings and I'm like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah, but
And
of course, that's
yeah,
the thing.
that's how you
get
develop,
better. You get better. Like you just gotta practice and like stop thinking about, hey, this has to be perfect, and just like do it. And then you release it and it's online. And then like I tell you this now, like 8 months ago, I wouldn't be able to tell you this. Like I was the one that was like, no, let's postpone the release, etc. And now we're on, and now we just do it, and we're fucking machines.
Yeah, it's really trial and error, to be honest. And sorry, Leon.
I wanted to say exactly the same.
Yeah.
Trial and error.
Yeah, that's our motto. No, but now I lost my thought. No, it's okay. No, but exactly. So I remember Jonathan and we had like a phone call a few weeks ago. I don't know, and I was like, I feel like I don't know if I can say that, but I'm working less on this project. Like, do you feel the same, or is it just because we stopped productions now because we already have so much, and then, or is it because we got so much more efficient? And then Jonathan said, like, yeah, I was just about to say that because we're now in this team where like we found our way of how we work so efficient, and we don't have to talk about everything half an
All the
hour
time,
anymore.
yeah.
It's just like, okay, you do what you can do best, and we all know that by now a little bit, I would say. So it's getting faster. It's getting easier for us as a team to work on these things. And yeah, that's funny to see like how it developed from really the first productions where it was kind of chaotic, I would say, but okay.
Unexperienced, I would say.
Yeah.
Unexperienced. Like there was a structure which we cannot have right now because the project scaled so much, and nowadays it's better organized. We still have a margin of progress, but we did our best since day one, and this is something you can feel, and the trust we all do have in each other made the group cohesion we do have nowadays, and everyone got along immediately with the other team partners. This is like the team is crazy good. Like the skills that everyone has, it's impressive, and that's why Neil Drop is I think successful.
So cute. You can't see him, but Leon is almost crying.
Yeah. Really cute words, bro. But like I can also just give back to you that you are doing a fucking great job. You are like the head of the project. You are the one who brought everyone together, who brings the people together with the guests who are being invited, and it's super beautiful to see that I can see that you enjoy it, and that you are like it's getting better and better, and it's super nice.
But also, yeah, now the second one is crying here. No, very cute. But what I wanted to say also, I mean, we're also friends outside of Needle Drop, and I really feel like that, like our group of people, as you said, like grew so much together, and we are like really strong team. But not only with Needle Drop, but also in a personal way. I mean, we're also trying sometimes to meet and really say before, okay, we're meeting now, and we are not talking about Needle Drop anymore.
We fail every time.
We fail every time, of course. But that shows also how much passion we have about this project, I would say. But yeah.
Should we talk money a little bit? Can we talk money here?
Do you want to invest?
Yeah. How can you capitalize on that? Is that like stream revenue, maybe an event, or like do you have plans for how you to pay yourself out? Is that important?
Of course.
Right.
Like we're gonna get some funds from Switzerland and from Berlin. Like there is different funds you can apply to, and partnerships. We want to work with cool brands as well. Like there's so many brands that do have a lot of money and do not know what to do with it, and I want to focus on the right one, or the one who suit the project, and to help with other people who want to sponsor or like do donations to other, like once we reached a certain level, we want also to help different associations who help minorities with our, like just asking like at the end of the episode, for example, hey, this episode we're supporting association, I don't know, like the Red Cross, for example. If you're interested, please, like here's a link and all that. And to bring money in, like as I said before, the creative agency is soon like there. We're building a website right now.
Agency, that's the last kind of topic on our, before we enter the free talk space, I would
Yeah.
say agency. What's going on there? Do you want
So
to?
yeah, sure. We can start to talk about it. So most of the artists that follow us have seen what we do, the quality of content that we create, and we want to expand. And like, since we do not have the capacity and we do not want to cover all the scene either, we want to keep an eye on the people that we think suit to the vibe of the project. We want to still be able to work with them by creating them press packs, like shooting with them like press pictures, creating them, let's say, poster for their event or like for their Instagram and their dates, and just like to help them in the jungle that social media is, and to avoid bad looking content, and just like to help them in a graphic design and photography way to show their very best side, die Schokoladenseite in German, so that they can also concurrence with the people that have a huge following and not necessarily have the skills that they do have, and to just to make it real and authentic.
Cool. Ambitious. And is there already similar stuff? I'm not really sure. I know there's like booking agencies, but this is more like a content creator agency for artists, right?
Exactly, and
Right.
that's where we at, because like
Don't
we
steal the
see-
idea, everyone.
we see, yeah, we all gonna know where it is, and like I got good lawyers, so don't fuck it up.
Even if we are better, don't try.
Well, you can't steal originality. So at the end, like people who stole, like they know where they're at, and I've already went to court for that shit, so I'm not scared to
And
that.
the demand is always there, I guess. There's,
Absolutely.
it's not.
Absolutely. Now we want to give back to the scene what the scene gave to us, and to help the people in need. That like, again, like this is the moment where the imposter syndrome is here. We're helping the people who are in the scene for longer than us, or have a bigger experience somehow, like in different fields and all that, and we're collaborating and helping them and working together, and this is what we want to do. This is also why I'm trying to push Leon as much as I can. He's a young DJ and producer. He recently signed onto a label called Acronym here in Berlin, and dope release we used for the Flash Day video recap. And yeah, just like so nice to see that young artists are grinding as hard and as we are, and like to do it together, and just like to offer him opportunities, just like to play somewhere, because like it's the tough business, like in general, like super.
Yeah, and I think
super
the
hard.
dialogue between young aspiring artists and old school legends is something which I see very often right now on IG or everywhere. I think, talking about TikTok ravers, talking about reels based on breaks, but then kind of old school DJs complaining that it's not about the breaks, it's about the hypnotic trance, it's about the vibe. I think this is a very interesting conversation to have, and I feel like by bringing all of these parties together, you have a lot of very interesting content, in my opinion.
First of all, thanks for your kind words, Jonathan. It's super nice to get your full support on what I'm doing with my music, and for your trust, of course. And yeah, bro.
Go check out Leon Schanzenbach, Acronym Records. Is it a vinyl actually?
No, it's not a vinyl. It's a label of France, and they made a VA album, various artists album, and my friend Achat, Henry, Grüße, produced a track together, and it was released there.
Cool. Is this your first release?
No, it's not my first release, but it's our first release like as a collaboration.
Okay, cool. So, yeah, what else is there? What's going on? How are you doing?
Next year we go to New York. Boom.
Damn.
Yeah, New York for the Pride. So yeah, that's gonna be a big thing as well. we're gonna keep the rhythm, keep the quality, and grow and be bigger.
Sounds good. I love it.
No, we just. I put on my Avengers. A friend of mine told me like, "Hey, you just like put the Berliner Avengers together," and I really like this kind of comparison somehow.
Yeah. So you're Tony Stark then, huh?
I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, we're just gonna continue to do what we do, but bigger and better. And
Cool.
And
Are you not intimidated by, for example, if I think about doing events in Berlin, I don't have a lot of, money in my bank account, and kind of by talking to a few players, I kind of realize how big the risk is. Like sometimes you end up with 8K plus, next time you have 10K minus. It's kind of like an up and down. So you never really know. You always take these huge risks. And for me personally, I'm having a small label, and labels usually do events. But I'm doing that only on a very, very small scale because I'm a little bit intimidated to dive into the shark pool of Berlin event management. I'm honestly a bit afraid. Are you having the same emotions when it comes to event management?
Yes and no. I've been doing that for 5 years with my old crew. I put on together a few years ago, like 2015, and I left the crew in 2019, 20, something like this, to focus on my projects. This is when I started to interest myself for tattooing and all that. So I've been there, and I mean, I got enough experience in the club scene right now to know how it works. I'm nervous as fuck. I'm not gonna.
Don't tell us your secret tricks, but yeah.
No,
that's
but
how
like
you feel about it.
what I see is that if you wanna be in the shark tank, you gotta be a shark as well. And if you don't ready to fight with the big boys, or like to go in the ring with the big boys, just
And
like
ladies.
sorry, yeah, this
And
was
theirs.
not meant. Yeah. Now what I meant is like you gotta be. What I mean is like it's a very combative industry, and you gotta be very. You gotta be a tough person.
Right? I
That's
feel
what I
like this.
mean
You
with
need
that.
you need a thick skin. You need to be able to, accept the fact that you're taking these financial risks. And I think that's maybe the point. I think I would be a little bit too sensitive for that. Maybe
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah. Now it's really be well prepared. Really see who you're organizing it with, where, who's playing, and all that. Like there's many factors that you. At the end, you're just gonna go through the process, do good parties, do bad parties, learn from it, and there is all these things that you just gotta do it.
Dream lineup out of the blue.
Well, you will see.
Yeah.
No, it's but to go back on the competition, it's very interesting. There's one of the aspects we try to cover with the podcast, and like to talk about everything that's happening nowadays, which is amazing. Like to have like such diverse lineups, and like people that are minority, like part of minorities, that are finally booked and like put in a front row, and not as a headliners, and like they get to become big, and like to go to the cool clubs and play there, etc. This is amazing, and this is also something we're supporting.
Cool. What's your favorite club?
We all know.
Yeah, we all know. That's a stupid question.
But again, like this is a place where you just gotta where I really enjoy to go in general, because like you meet so many cool people, especially on Sundays, and it's just a vibe. And this is where I met like a good 80% of the people I know from my network, I would say, and we just like share all these things, experiences, stories, moments. Anna and me met there, for example.
Ah, cool. Does Anna also have a tattoo from you?
She has. I tattooed her back in January when we shot her episode, and it's not gonna be the last one. We still have to take an appointment, Anna.
Cool.
Sorry, I was out quickly.
Now, Milan asked if I tattooed you.
No, I'm joking. Yes, you did.
Why?
No, I'm very, 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 very happy with this tattoo. It's a skeleton hand on my back. You can check out the needle drop on my Instagram and see it there. No, it's really, really nice. I usually don't tattoos that I don't plan a lot ahead, to be honest. But that one was really one which I did kind of spontaneous, I have to say. I think, yeah. It was quite, I think a week ago we decided, a week before we decided.
Yeah, I just brought a new flash sheet out, I remember, and then I showed it to you.
True.
And you said, yeah, that's the one I want.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah,
Again.
Thank you. Thank you for the trust. And that's a beautiful thing about the touring is that you're inking memories into the skin of people. And that's going to be for the rest of their life. Which can be an amazing thing and...
Not for everyone. Not in your case, I mean. But
yeah, and that was my next point. Is just like, hey, have a good relationship to your artist. Be sure about who you're gonna get the tattoo from, and that you're gonna spend a good session. This is one of the biggest aspect of Needle Drop is we want to offer the very like a kind of premium tattoo session.
Are you tattooed?
I have shitty stick and pokes, and I'm planning to have more shitty stick and pokes.
I mean, that's a style also.
Right, yeah, I want to learn it myself. Like, I had one word on my right leg. It's really random. So I thought I'm gonna just continue and write more random words on my right leg, and I probably will regret it.
So you want to do it yourself on your own legs?
That's the plan, yeah. I had this done by a good friend and photographer Linus Müllerschön, and he's gonna meet me soon and to show me how to do it. Because I feel like, you know, it needs to fit together, and having like a super high style tattoo, it would maybe be a little bit out of context. And I think I like the unseriousness of it. For me, it's easier than to live with it. I think if I get something too meaningful, well, you know the drill. You're a tattoo artist, so you know what.
And is there any example? Do you want to share what, like you said, shitty words, and you want to continue? Is there anything on your mind right now?
Construction site, for starters, because life is a construction site. Oh my god, this is actually meaningful. This is not what I meant. Maybe just cheese. Cheese is good. 'Cause I'm playing very corny sound, and I'm more on the house side of music, and I guess cheese would be a good word to start with.
Nice. So
we have 15 minutes left. If you don't want to add anything, my suggestion is we're slowly rounding it up, and then Leon's gonna serve us one more track, and we're off. Are you cool with that? Or
Yeah,
is there anything
absolutely.
you want to share?
Absolutely. I'm just gonna check the menu for the end. No, I think we've talked about everything. I would like to thank the whole team again, like especially the people who didn't make it today or who are geographically in other countries for their trust and the energy they put in the project since the beginning, and that it wouldn't be as good as it is nowadays without them, and all our friends who are supporting, watching, sharing, and all that.
woo!
Really, the community is stabil.
Stable. Yeah.
Jonathan, thank you so much for bringing your insights and your whole crew to our little container. Let's work more together in the future. I love
Would love
it.
to.
And I think your excitement definitely inspires and comes across through the airways. And yeah, thank you for sharing.
Thank you for having us. And one last thing, if you have any questions about the project and all that, please do not hesitate to write us. We're gonna come back to you as soon as possible. Unfortunately, for the next months, we're fully booked. We won't make it, but like to make new episodes and all that. But for next year, for bigger showcases and all that, if you have some cool projects or think like, hey, we can do something together, yeah, think about it, develop your concept, and do not hesitate to contact us.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, can people contact you also if they would like maybe to get featured on your platform, or is that something which is more part of your curation?
So we are very selective, and it's already we are already like still like very busy nowadays. So right now we're gonna focus on the post production of everything we've done until now.
Mm-hmm. And with that foundation, let's see what happens in the next year, maybe.
Well, the thing is, like, it's gonna be huge. So we're just this is why we're gonna be like have a very selective aspect, as well as we want to stay on the position that we are right now, and to offer the very best and original quality that we can, and that no one else is gonna. We're just gonna be one step ahead of everyone else. That's it.
All right. Well, guys, I think that's it. Leon is gonna play a track for us. Do you want to say which one?
Yeah, it's from. Let me see. It's.
It's the new Scooter track, which is called Berliner Luft.
Here we
It's
go.
the new EP of Alarico, Drops of Us, and the track I'm playing is Asthma, the favorite of this EP.
Right. New EP on Mutual Rhythm, as far as I know. Okay, take it away and enjoy the track, guys. Thank you and have a nice evening.
Thank you. Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday.
THF Radio.